Hello everyone, and welcome to BattIebots, what some people call Robot Combat at home. We call the hum of Robot Combat. I'm Jeremy Clarkson, joined by the ever-popular free-to-play shooter legend and Robot Combat analyst, Scat from Team Fortress 2.
Thank you, Jeremy. It's great to be here. You know, after fighting against bots in my own game, it's going to be great to see the bots fight each other in a nice fight card.
And what a fight card it is, Scout. We'll be seeing the most powerful Irish hammer robot, Beta, taking on the political powerhouse that is Republic. We'll also be seeing the speedy pneumatic flipper Banish take on the ever-maneuverable axe of Shinny.
Of course, that's all leading up to our main event. It's the gaping moth Kiwanis taking on the toad of terror Riveting.
But before any of that, we've got an opening match you won't want to miss. The drum spinner of Minnow taking on the great patriotic full-body spinner of Colonel Shred. Now starting with Minnow, they're coming off an unfortunate loss against Terrorize. Sure, they managed to land some good shots and took it to the judges, but a loss is still a loss. Team Captain Tom Fox has been working hard on his bot in anticipation for this match, as he knows he can't afford to lose here.
Yeah, going on to at the start of a season is never good, even with good losses. BattIebots doesn't allow bots with only one win into the final bracket, so Tom is really in need of a win here tonight.
That win would come at the expense of Colonel Shred though, and I don't think Team Captain Duke Nukem would appreciate that.
Coming off a win over Death Row, it's clear the Colonel has the wine in his sails, but they can't afford to get cocky against a robot like Minnow. Minnow is notorious for knocking out top-tier opponents, which is something one might be considering a Colonel to be.
The bots are being loaded into the box. Rack, take it away.
My fellow Americans, it's robot fighting time. They say there are many fish in the sea, but none are as terrifying as this one. It's not the shark or whale or even the dolphin. No, it's the minnow.
A long-time competitor of the sport. What's the strategy in this fight?
Him!
A bold strategy from the fish. Let's hope it works out for them.
Believe it or not, this robot spins, like really fast. I don't know what else to say. It's Colonel Shred.
Made the round of 8 last year, before burning out against Scoping. What should we look for in this match?
Shred is a notoriously passive robot, often seen backing away from its opponents to spin up. This often leads him vulnerable to being boxed into a corner, so be on the lookout for that.
This'll be exciting. Let's get it on.
3.
The box is locked. The lights are on. It's robot fighting time. Minnow misses out on the box rush and takes a nice job from the Colonel. But Minnow lands a power shot, but then takes one right back.
Minnow is clearly reeling from that last shot. It's difficult to get by in his full-body spinners.
Minnow lands a huge shot anyway, very impressive.
Sure, that's some good hits by Minnow, but that's ignoring the fact that Colonel Shred has landed at least 3 times as many hits so far.
Minnow is being sent flying once again. We're only a minute into this match, but the Colonel clearly is controlling the pace.
You say that, but they just sent Shred at least 5 feet into there.
A swift counter shot from Shred now leaves Minnow upside down. They're going to need a lucky shot to get back upright.
That's right, the gyroscopic force of that drum has a tendency to knock Minnow on its back. They may be in trouble.
Minnow gets that lucky shot that we're looking for and is immediately trying to pounce on Shred.
Whoa!
Both of these bots are taking these hits like champions. You think we are in the championship finals with how these two are fighting.
Minnow is once again upside down. Don't look now, but I think I'm seeing pieces falling off of them.
I see a wedgelet missing and a chunk of tire. That's going to earn Shred some bonus points on the scorecard.
You really think this one is going to the judges? With how heavy these shots have been, surely something's going to break.
Minnow is finally upright, but missing both its wedgelets, it's going to be even more difficult to get engagement now. Minnow just can't seem to get the shots it's looking for. They're trying desperately to box Colonel Shred into the corner in the final minute of this fight.
They're upside down right now and struggling to keep up with Shred's pace.
There's only a few seconds left, so it looks like this one is going to the judges.
These are true top tiers still have managed to survive for so long. Although without a miracle here at the end, I believe this might be lights out for Minnow.
The clock is winding down, and Colonel Shred is still landing heavy shots. Talk about a good loosting impression for the judges. So it goes to the scorecard, which will be decided by our 3 judges, all of whom are fellow robots: Reedon Crevengeance, Dorothy Hares, and Robert Kopp. They'll be judging with 9 points in the categories of impact, aggression, and control. Also, new to this season, they're allowed to award up to 13 bonus points for visible damage dealt to a robot. I counted at least 4 powerhouse shots there by Minnow.
Yeah, real impressive. For Shred, I lost count after 15.
You've got to hand it to these robots' durability. After beating each other up non-stop, the only damage was Minnow's wedges and single tire. I can't see the judges giving Shred more than 2 bonus points for that.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I didn't see Minnow giving the slightest bit of damage. You can theorize that maybe they got a tiny slice of will or a bit of plastic off the bottom of Shred, but at most that's just 1 bonus point.
The judges' scores are in. Let's go to Barack with the decision.
My fellow Americans, the results from the judges are in. The winner, by unanimous decision, is Colonel Shred.
Damn, the driving out there. You too, man.
So Colonel Shred advances to 2 though, but at what cost?
Well, for them, it cost nothing, but Minnow is now stuck in an odd pit. And while I believe they can climb out of it, it'll be tough.
Alright, up next, we have the Great Irish Hammer Beater entering the box against Republic. And before you get all confused, it's a pun, Republic. That's coming up next on BattIebots. Welcome back to BattIebots, where every bat's necktie has been inserted with an A. I'm Jeremy Clarkson, joined as always by Scout from Team Fortress 2. We are about to witness the battle of massive proportions as the Irish Hammer of Beater and the vertical disc of Republic are about to square off. Scout, how does this battle look in your eyes?
This battle could mean a lot, Jeremy. Beater's current 1-1 after losing to Banish, but we'll be seen later tonight, but recovered with a decisive win over Valhalla. Republic isn't really known for having great armor, shown by the fact there's an exposed motor sticking out the top of their robot, but that didn't seem to hurt them too much in their last match against Horizontal, where they frankly demolished everything they could see.
The bots are already in the box, so we'll be able to jump right into the action. I look forward to this.
3, 2, 1, go.
Let's kick bolt. A slow approach, but an immediate attack by Beater. They've already broken something on Republic. Scout, what seems to be happening?
My guess is that it's Republic's internal flywheel. The driving weapons seem fine, so it's still in this fight. However, expect them to have some major driving issues.
Those driving issues seem on full display as Beater is consistently pushing them around. However, it seems they're struggling to hit with that hammer.
Beater usually relies on being under the way of another robot to hold it down to the ground. However, Republic's design seems to not be aligned that. The result is this crazy flopping around that Beater keeps doing.
Republic needs to capitalize on this.
Holy guacamole!
And he does. Republic just sent Beater halfway across the box and lands him outside of the arena.
This is gonna be it, Jeremy. Counting is starting.
A heartbreak for Beater, who flails around in the corner, but it's a celebration for Republic, who moves to 2-0. If I had to describe Beater's strategy in 2 words, it would be aggressive flailing.
Yeah, Beater was definitely having trouble keeping their robot on the ground through most of that match. It seemed to have been working relatively well for them, actually.
Beater landed a number of hammer shots, but was left vulnerable after almost every one of them, which ended up being their downfall.
I don't think Peter could have possibly predicted that absolutely monster shot that Republic gave out, though. I mean, look at this. This is not a small arena by any means, but Republic threw them from almost a third of the way across it.
And with that, another loss gets handed to Beta, meaning the next match will be a must-win, while Republic sitting at 2-0 are basically a lock for the tournament.
I agree, Jeremy. They'd have to absolutely botch the last two matches to miss out.
Alright, so next on the fight card, the speedy flipper of Banish looks to put a nail through the coffin of the 0-1 Shinny. Look forward to that next on BattIebots. Welcome back to BattIebots, the only show based off of a dream a 20-something-year-old had once, or at least I hope it is. I'm Jeremy Clarkson, once again joined by Robert Cumbert and Alice Cat from Team Fortress 2. We're here preparing for the next battle on our fight card. That's Banish versus Shinny, and breaking it down for a scout.
I would love to. It's hard enough. It's important to note how similar this matchup is to Banish's previous match against Beta. In the previous fight, Beta's hammer actually managed to disable Banish's flipper system. Of course, Banish still made it to the judges in their superior ground game, managed to let them dominate the scorecard. All Shady sees in that is that Banish's top armor is vulnerable to attacks, and a few good smacks could do them in. Shady's axe reaches much further than Beta's. And it also has a much better grand game, so there might be something to watch.
Speaking of Shinny, they're coming off a split decision loss to Temper.
Temper just proved way too maneuverable for them to keep up winning that fight, and they feel that Banish may be the same story. Banish lacks a good method of dealing visible damage to Shiny, so they're hoping to earn a lot of damage points and win a judge's decision here.
Let's see how this pans out for them. The bots are already in the box, so let's not keep them waiting.
3, 2, 1. Go.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go breaking, boys.
Please stop.
The bots start by jockeying for position. Shinny swings first, but it's a miss. Banish is going to look to capitalize.
Banish pushing Shiny around a bit, but can't seem to find a spot to fire the flipper.
They now lock head to head, and Shinny lands some direct shots.
Banish has to be careful not to let that happen to much. Last time that happened, and a buffer tank got smashed to bits.
That unique drive setup on Shinny is making it difficult for Banish to stay squared up to them, but they land a good run anyway.
That's the first time we've seen that Flippy use this fight. It may not have been impressive, but it still points to this go to distance.
Another good flip. Banish seems to be controlling the pace so far.
It's definitely the speed of Banish that's dictating the match right now. Shiny is now suddenly the one struggling to stay squared up.
That's not stopping Shinny though. They land a great hammer strike. Those forks on Shinny are working wonders at catching Banish. That hammer's getting some work in now.
This is some good back and forth action so far. Both of these bots need to be at the top of their game here.
More hammer strikes from Shinny, racking up those valuable impact points.
I swear I'm either really biased or I see a dent in the top of Banish.
Banish is now getting to the sides of Shinny, trying desperately to get into a position to use that flipper. But they just can't seem to get the right angle to do it. This must be frustrating.
Oh, he's gonna get a chance right here. Watch out.
What was that pathetic sound? Oh my goodness, that whole flipper has come off.
Jeremy, I think those axe shots from Shiny have finally caught up to Banish. There's been a lot of pressure on the axle that flipper is mounted on, and it seems to have just snapped.
This doesn't look good for them. Shinny keeps swinging away and now they've caught fire.
Without that flipping arm, a lot of internals are exposed. Banish's left might be on time here.
Shinny keeps swinging away. They're no longer looking for impact points. They're looking for a kill shot.
You can see that Banish's drive is clearly messed up. One more good shot could end this match.
Shinny lines up once again. Could this be it? One bam. Thank you, ma'am.
I cringed in every bone in my body just then, Jeremy.
Williams are in a better shape than Banish. Shinny lines up the gun. And this time they land the kill shot they were looking for. And with mere seconds left in this match, we might just have a knockout.
It's already starting, Jeremy. This will be great for Team Shiny.
Banish is engulfed in flames, and you can see it in Shinny's reflection as they move into the winner's column. A fairly good performance from both Robots, I'd say.
I'm inclined to agree. Banish had some good control throughout the match, but the main star of the show was definitely Shiny's axe.
Repeated hammer strikes wore down Banish flipping on, eventually leading to it falling off.
Those forks on Shiny perfectly line up Banish time and time again. There's only so much that Banish's speed could carry, and it eventually let them down.
Banish was left a ball of flames at the side of the arena, meaning both of these bots are now 1-1.
I'd say both of them aren't very capable of any another one in their books. I wouldn't be surprised if they both made an appearance in the tournament bracket.
And with that, we're now at our main stop. The main event of Quantize and Riveting is right around the corner, and you won't want to miss it. Next on BattIebots. Welcome back to BattIebots, where it is now time for our main event between two World Championship finalists, Riveting and Quantize. Riveting, of course, got the silver medal last year, only failing to win against Big Will by a narrow margin. But it may be easy to forget that back in World Championship 4, Quantize took an humongous in the finals in a nightmare matchup.
These are two highly competitive robots. Riveting is a highly skilled knockout artist and Quantize is a controlling tank. I look forward to this one.
Looking back at their previous matches, they were both facing some powerhouses.
That's right, Quantize had a rough time with Jack the Potter, but still managed to kick out a judge's decision. Meanwhile, Riveting took on a former semi-finalist and Slammer and made them look like a reserve robot.
It was a highly destructive match indeed. I wonder if they can do the same to Quantize.
Well, Riveting has a lot of people in the pits believing. According to the poll health, 69% of competitors believe that Riveting will take the win here.
Nice. I can't wait any longer. Rack, bring the bots in here.
My fellow Americans, it's time for the main event. Watching this robot fight is sickening, but at the same time it's quite riveting. Seeing it rip you apart, it's just interesting. It's riveting.
Former grand finalist and local Toad of Terror scout, what's the secret to winning tonight?
Riveting gets good, it's almost entirely using his speed. Look for them to get some distance, and charge at Quantize in an attempt to get as much bite as possible.
Did anyone else hear a rumbling? You know, in a worst case scenario, there wouldn't be an earthquake. No one would be the stomach of this robot because it's hungry. It's Quantize.
Got wrecked in the round of 16 last year against Colonel Shred. Here's an interesting little tidbit for you at home. To Quantize is an artist term meaning to reduce the amount of colors in a piece.
Well, I know for sure that if that thing would have grabbed my robot, the coal would drain from my face. That may just be a coincidence, though.
Riveting. Quantize. Only one can move to 2-0.
3, 2, 1.
Let the bot battle begin. Quantize tried to close the distance, but takes a big shot from Riveting.
When they're on their back, they're self-right as exposed. Wants us to be careful.
They get back up with help from Riveting, but are starting to take some damage now. Quantize trying to push Riveting around, looking for an angle to sink its teeth. Oh, and it's got one. Now remember, you're allowed to hold an opponent for 50 in-game ticks before you must attempt to release, although it's only on a third straight grab where they will be forcefully separated.
Quantize seems to be jamming Riveting's spinner into the floor, trying to slow it down. We're in damage being on that might have some good long-term effects.
But now that Riveting has been released, they're back to landing some good shots.
Yeah, these are some good jabs from Riveting. You can see the tip of Quantize's wedge is ripped off.
Quantize doesn't seem to care too much about the damage though, as it pushes Riveting into the corner.
You can see more chunks of wedge falling off as we reach the 1 minute mark. But here comes another grab from Quantize, slamming Riveting into the corner.
They seem to be desperately ramming that disc into the wall, hoping something on it breaks.
A bit of a premature release there, and they take a bit of a shot to the side because of it.
Riveting is back to landing its jabs. Some good back and forth action in this one.
We're only halfway right now, but I currently have one is ahead on the scorecard. But they really need to keep up the pace since it looks like that which is being smashed to bits.
A slight plume of smoke from Quantize. Should we be worried?
It's probably nothing. Although we're starting to be worried about the fact that Qantas hasn't landed a good grab in a while. They might be falling behind a bit here.
Riveting has been consistently using the disc to keep their distance from Quantize. We're at a minute left in this fight, and while I have Qantas leading in aggression, they need at least one more good grab to stand a chance here.
Well, I tell you what, they just barely missed one right there. They're starting to push Riveting around a bit, but the damage is still piling up.
Riveting trying its best to keep its distance to spin up. But Quantize is all over them. Getting around to the back, another grab incoming.
They need to make the most of this grab here. Maybe try to slam Riveting around.
It's a bit of an awkward angle. I'm not sure they could do that.
Now they're clamping down right on the tire. This is great stuff, Jeremy.
They're just slightly nudging Riveting around the box. Still good control and impact though. Now trying to release. The scorecards seem even once ago.
It seems Riveting has gotten some tight chunks though. Qantas is visibly slowing here.
Riveting landing some good final shots, attempting to make a last-minute impression with the judges.
This is going to be a close one. I do not envy the judges' jobs right now.
This match will be going the distance. So it goes to the judges, all of whom are fellow robots, reading the Creventions, Dorothy Has, and Robert Kopp. If I were to tell you Quantize only got 3 of the 4 grabs compared to Riveting's dozens of jabs, you'd think this one would be more clear-cut.
Well, the numbers don't really tell the full story here. Both bots were going back and forth with control, and it felt like Riveting was the one retreating more often than Qantas was.
Alright, let's talk damage here. Qantas was unable to damage anything despite constantly ramming Riveting's disc into the walls and ground. So the big question is how big of a boost Riveting gets over Quantize for tearing into them so much.
Mangled wedge, torn tires, and a couple miscellaneous pieces strewn around the arena. Nothing was disabled, so they're not earning more than 3 bonus points, but that still might be enough to give them edge in this judge's decision.
The judges have made their decision. Let's go to Barack with the decision.
My fellow Americans, the results from the judges are in. We have a split decision. Judge Raiden scored the battle for Riveting. Judge Dorothy scored the battle for Quantize. Judge Robert scored the battle for the winner, Riveting.
So Riveting clutches out another win, but man was it close.
Yeah, the big thing the judges disagreed on was an impact category. Robin and Raiden were both unimpressed by Qantas' grind and Riveting spinner into the ground and walls, while Dorothy disagreed.
I personally would have awarded Riveting a lot more control points, although I suppose that's not my job.
Both robots have a case in each of the 3 main categories. Judges' decisions like these are the reason I'm glad I'm not a judge.
Well, that's going to be it for this episode of BattIebots. But before we go, we have a special announcement to make. The BattIebots World Championship 7 replica pack is now live on the Robot Rumble 2.0 Discord server.
Just head into the Botfile Sharing channel and scroll up until you see our logo. We're lucky it'll be pinned, but knowing these moderators, that's not a guarantee.
Alright, with that, thank you everyone so much for watching. From all of us here at BattIebots, Jeremy Clarkson, Scout from Team Fortress 2, and Barack Obama, have a good day everyone.